All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of the Super Podcast. This week, we're going to be covering Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episodes 1 through 4. And we're also welcoming Nick Devura for,
Jesus.
how do you say it?
Yeah, they know.
You say it. You say it.
Nick
Rocky Star.
Devura.
Devura?
Yes.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
All right.
I texted you how to pronounce it.
I know, but
I'm glad
the
Gap got the
phonetics
heat on
of
that
it,
one.
I don't know. All right, well, welcome Nick to the show. His first guest appearance, first of many, hopefully. So,
Big super fan. Big fan. I want my koozie.
big super fan. Koozie's coming your way soon. And with that, we're going to cover episodes 1 through 4 of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And let's get into it.
I'll start right off. The name is too long. I don't like this.
Hard to type.
I agree, honestly.
It's you don't need two thes in there. You get one the. That's what I
Well,
think.
what else would you title it? Like Outlaws? Like what are you gonna call it besides the Falcon and the Winter Soldier? I guess you can take out the, but
Yeah, I would just go Falcon. I don't know, man.
What about just like X-Avengers?
Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's all you need.
Yeah, you don't need the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But anyway,
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I agree with that. But I still like at that point you're calling it what Foz? I've seen people call it Fat Dubs. Like
Fat Dubs, I like that.
There's no good way to call it anything. It's too long, I agree, but I don't know, not really much you can do about it.
Yeah, but we're not the ones in charge of coming up with that. Like, there's got to be someone in Marvel Circle that could think of a better name.
Bro, there's someone in Marvel's on that whatever creative team it is, whatever marketing team that probably makes like $85K a year and came up with that title, and that's their only job. It's just to come up with these
They really
titles.
need help in that department.
Dude, honestly, they could just call it Flag Smashers.
Bro, I was just about to say, I think Flag Smashers is the stupidest name ever.
Oh, word.
I was
but
really about to bring it up how they need help in that department because of that.
That makes sense though, because like their whole motive is that like during the
like no borders, and I get that, but like they could have came out with something better than Flag Smashers. Even Flag Destroyers sound better than Flag Smashers or something.
See, I don't really mind Flag Smashers in general. I think it's not the dumbest superhero title I've ever heard. Like, there's part of the rumors or whatever is that they might be coming out with the Thunderbolts, which is, I don't know how familiar you are with that, but Zemo creates like a team to take advantage of like the world's resources, and they masquerade as being heroes, but they're villains. And I think being called Thunderbolts is stupider than the Flag Smashers.
That's way worse.
No, that is dumber than.
That's definitely worse.
Isn't Thunderbolts the team from the beginning of Civil War, like the comic book that blows up that school bus, and that's actually what starts Civil War?
Is that their name?
It was like a reality TV show.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Accidentally blow up like a school bus or a school, and that's what starts the Civil War in the comic books. I think, was that Thunderbolts?
Could be. I don't know.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, someone look it up. Like right off the bat, like first impression of the show is it like, first of all, it starts off with such an expensive looking action scene that I was like kind of blown away by how like, I'm like, my first initial thought was like, damn, they really stepped their shit up from the Netflix shows, like the Jessica Jones and like Daredevil, where I'm like, damn, like they're not fucking around with this. Like he's like flying through mountains and like there's like helicopters crashing, and it's just it looked awesome.
No, when he killed like probably 30 people.
He killed so many people.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that like throughout the years of the MCU, like starting with Iron Man 1, people have always given Marvel like issues with or flack for having like their villains being like their mirror image, and it starts out with Falcon like fighting guys like paratroopers in like these wingsuits, which is like a cheap version of Falcon, I guess. Like just like it happens to be like like right up his wheelhouse, like just something he can do better in now.
It's that, and then 2 episodes later, they got Bucky fighting super soldiers, like with the exact same abilities that he does.
But they had to go the super serum way, like the super soldier route, because like it's this show I feel like is gonna play like homage to like Cap the whole like, and it's which is what I was excited for. It's just gonna be like a.
Should we go around and like rate it, or what we think about it so far before we get into it, or?
I like it. I like it a lot so far. I give it like it's like an 8 so far.
I'm really upset that I'm not going to be here Friday to watch the episode right away, but Sunday night I want to rip it.
I like it. I like WandaVision more, I think, because maybe it's because of just how the Twitter and everyone else has been handling this show versus WandaVision. Like with WandaVision, you had who's the husband, who's Ralph, and had all these misdirections. And this is more just like a regular Marvel movie. So I think I like more of the using my brain aspect of it, like the story to WandaVision more than Falcon Winter Soldier. I still think it's good.
Yeah, WandaVision Twitter was definitely way better. I have to say that. Between all the memes, that show was hilarious.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think I like the show a lot. Kind of what Bo said. I think I would have to give it about an 8 to start off so far. I think by the end of it could be a 10, honestly. The way it's setting up right now.
How many episodes is it? Is it 6?
It's only 6, so
Yeah.
6?
we're
Yeah,
past
2
the
more
midway
episodes.
mark. We have 2.
I did
2
hear
left.
the last 2 are about an hour long.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the
That's
thing
good.
is that it's different because this series plays like an MCU movie just stretched out. Like it's like it's literally like an MCU movie, but it's in series form. Whereas WandaVision was like its own thing, and you didn't know what route was going. Like this, you could kind of predict like what was going to happen with because they showed us John Walker and the U.S. agent in the previews. But WandaVision was like more of like a casual watch. Like it was fun. It was like some MCU content for the first time in a while with COVID and everything. But then I feel like the last 2 episodes really got that MCU vibe with WandaVision. Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier really stretched the budget for the special effects and the action, whereas WandaVision was more of like telling a story and like giving you that nostalgic kind of novelty feel to it. But I loved WandaVision, but I don't know what I like more right so far. I have to see how this ends.
Yeah, again, we're only 4 episodes into it, so it's. I mean, we still don't know who the big, who the big reveal is. Do you guys want to get right into that, or do you want to wait for that or predictions?
I was going to say I texted Gavin last night. I was watching the episodes in preparation for this, and I have a hot take about who the power broker is. So I don't know if you want to do that now or
All right,
what I got.
Let's hear it, Nick.
Do you guys want? Yeah, let's just do it now. Fuck it.
All right. So I have two guesses.
You get one, and then we'll circle back to you.
Okay. So I'll
I want you to take mine.
I'll save my hot take for last. But my first guess is it's got to be Sharon Carter.
You fucking jerk off. That's mine. That's mine.
There's no way it's not Sharon Carter.
Dude, that was my guess. I'm so mad you took it.
It's right
One
there.
brain cell.
There's no way.
One brain cell.
Based off of everything that we've seen so far, and I think them calling the power broker he all the time and saying he and he's pissed and whatever is just a complete misdirect to get you away from Sharon. But it's got to be Sharon Carter.
He's playing off the pronouns.
Yeah, but that's my basic
I like that take.
Who it is.
Dude, I'm so sad because I actually didn't think of that, and it's so obvious that you said it. And now I know. Now I feel like I know for a fact. I'm like, yeah, it's obviously Sharon Carter.
Dude, so
of course it's gonna be her. It's gonna be some bullshit like that.
All right, so I have some justifications for it. First of all, she has info and intel on Steve Rogers and also the Super Serum project, so she kind of knows the ins and outs of it. And working with Shield, so she probably has all that.
Her grandmom's Peggy.
Yeah, her grandma's Peggy who pioneered it. And then she's also casted away into this desperate situation where she's outcasted from America and the U.S. government.
It's like Darth Maul in Solo, where it's he's the Crimson.
Yeah, the crime lord, the Crimson, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, whatever it's called. Crimson
I think it's definitely gotta be Sharon, and she's being hesitant to help them, and the way she references the power broker is just so ominous, where it's she's probably referring to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And how does she have these satellites? When they're tracking John Walker, the satellites, Sharon Carter is a CIA agent when we meet her in Civil War. There's no way that she's selling stolen art and is making that much money that she has satellites in the air for no reason.
I don't know, dude.
I think everyone's got a satellite now. in the MCU.
Yeah, literally.
She definitely can live comfortably selling art and like having those little what are they
Having
called?
2 satellites in the air tracking people? No fucking way, dude. She's the power broker.
What's it called when you sell art? Curating, like a curating show.
Yeah, but she's selling like legit like Van Goghs and Monet.
Yeah, she's selling the actual like
Yeah.
Mona Lisa and like.
So
that was funny too when she said like the actual Mona Lisa is a fake, and then like Falcon like Google's it, he's like, you're right.
Yeah. Norm, what's your theory before we get to mine, which is
well,
like the
I know
worst one?
I did do some research, and I did also look into the Sharon Carter theory, and it definitely sounds legit. But I feel like they're setting you up to think that way. Honestly, just because like all the things that you just said. So especially with Marvel, people come up with all these crazy theories. So I think they're setting you up. I think it's still going to be the likely person in Zemo, honestly.
I think it's Zemo, like he was doing it from
Yeah, just because like I mean, he did mention that he's a baron, like he has a lot of money. He could fund all this. He seems to just know he seems to know a person everywhere for everything. And then also, I mean, his whole motive that he doesn't want the serum because they killed his family and all that stuff. I remember Bucky was saying that it couldn't be him because he has like a code that he wouldn't do that. I don't know. I feel like that's bullshit. I feel like that's in the past now. I feel like he could have his own motive now, a new motive. So I'm gonna go with Zemo for now.
Yeah, but Zemo was in prison that whole time.
Yeah,
but that just adds
he got
to
out of
it.
prison just like that, bro. Like I think he could have done that the whole time, anytime he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Just
think he's pulling that many strings like from within that like high security prison?
if you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire, I'm sure you can do anything. Honestly,
I thought that was a cool twist how they like made him end up being like a billionaire. Like in Civil War, you never got that vibe. I thought he was just like a poor villager or something.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Like he has the money to do all this, so who knows?
He didn't have any of the personality in Civil War that he has in this.
Or
like the dry humor,
or the dance moves. Apparently,
I guess he was. Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like they just kind of like threw this in at the end. Like they just threw this in for the series, like as far as his character goes, because in Civil War there's no hints of this, and if he really was this rich and powerful, I feel like he could have taken a more direct route to breaking up the Avengers than what he went through in Civil War.
Yeah, I guess he could have.
Yeah, I mean, they also could have just like wrote it in that he's rich. Like he
That's
might
what I
have been
mean.
in the first movie. Yeah.
I like when they said to him, he's like, "Oh, you're rich this whole time." And he's like, "I'm literally a baron." Like I'm like, it's in my name.
It's like royalty, right?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what a baron is, but it means you got some fucking coin.
Some type of
royalty,
yeah.
So I know it's not this, but I thought it would be really cool if, especially after like kind of the disappointment that people had of like who's gonna be the big reveal at the end of WandaVision and all that stuff. I was getting in my head where I was like, all right, it's in Latvia. I know it's not Latveria, but it's close. I'm like, what if they just switch it over? I'm like power broker. I'm like, who's like pulling these strings of like this like shadowy figure? And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, nah. I'm like, all right, the Fox deal just went through. Like they technically own the Fantastic Four now. I'm like, do they have the balls to make the power broker Victor Von Doom, like Doctor Doom? I don't think they do, but that would be the coolest way to go about it, to introduce him.
I don't think that and I would love to see Doctor Doom be the power broker just because it'd be such an out of left field thing. But yeah. With him being such a major villain and them wanting to use him, I'm assuming for like that Fantastic Four movie, that's now that you got it in my head, that's like a pipe dream that I'm like that I want now.
It's such a pipe dream.
If he was already established in the MCU, I feel like that could be like, or if the Fantastic Four were already established in the MCU, I feel like that could be possible. But I feel like they're gonna want to introduce him in like a bigger fashion.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely. There's no way he's coming in a Disney Plus show. There's
no. I didn't mean it like as in like, oh, he's like the bad guy for this season or whatever. I pictured it as like, because you know his whole origin is that like he becomes the ruler of like this small like shitty country, which is named after Latvia, basically Latveria, which is like a spinoff of Latvia. And the show takes place in Latvia, and I'm like, or half of it does, and I'm like, all right, can that be a coincidence? Like maybe he slowly he becomes like the king of this place, and then like sets his sights up higher and like for some reason gets these powers.
Maybe maybe like the events at the end of this series lead to that.
That catapults him into like he gets the super soldier serum and then like something like that. I don't know.
I don't think he's gonna get the super soldier serum because that's just not how he gets his powers. He gets them from like the whole Fantastic Four voyage.
Well, yeah, but dude, they change origins all the time in these movies.
That's true, but I feel like they're gonna have to keep true. Like, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna want to keep true to that and like keep him tied in with the Fantastic Four. And I think he's gonna get introduced in the same hand that they are.
Oh yeah,
but maybe he could like rise as like a political leader or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Even before he becomes like Doctor Doom, just like Victor Von Doom, he rises or gains some kind of following.
And I think they should set. They probably are, but I think they should set him up because I think he deserves it to be like the next like Thanos type villain.
I agree.
Or like
or
he's
even
like that...
Loki. If he's Loki and then you have like Galactus as Thanos, or
yeah, okay, yeah, that's good.
Because Loki has had like a lingering effect, and he was like the big bad guy in a whole Avengers movie. So
dude, he's still around. Like he's still.
I'm tired, dude. I'm not even.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about Loki.
He's doing his own show, isn't he?
Yeah, June. I'm tired.
It's coming out like right after this.
The only reason he's getting the show or he's still around is because all these fangirls are like obsessed with Tom Hiddleston and they want him around.
He's also a good villain though. Like compared to, side note.
Yeah, the first 4 times.
Done Killmonger dirty so many times, and I have a bone to pick with you.
I love Killmonger. I've always been pro Killmonger. That's all. That's all. Gavin Norm.
Something because I don't get the attraction to Killmonger, and even like Black Panther is a good movie. Like it's a good Marvel movie, but it's not like people hold it to like this high tier, and it's not that.
I like Killmonger too.
Yeah, I like him too. Like I'm not saying I don't like him, but he's not a top villain.
All right,
he's not even a villain. I don't even think he's a villain. I just think they have a difference of opinion and they fight for the throne. He's not even a villain. He's not a villain.
When he kills him, he's got like a giant body count.
Podcast and we'll settle this.
Yeah, but half those scars on him was because he was a Marine.
Yeah,
he was doing his job.
All right, now that we're talking about body count, we got a brief glimpse into Bucky's notebook a couple times.
Oh yeah,
dude, he's got a insane body count. Like I didn't realize it was that high.
That's the same notebook Cap had in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but dude, you see like pages of like names that he's like crossing out and all this shit.
Well, he said he's been at war for like 90 years, right? That's what he said in the.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that too because I was a little confused about his timeline at first. But do you guys want to get into that, or you just want to? Is there like any?
Well, I wanted to say I love the how they called back Trouble Man.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. I actually listened to that whole album after like I think it was episode 3.
Dude, it's fire.
I listened to the whole thing.
Marvin Gaye.
Not what I expected, but it was awesome.
Yeah. Norm, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say like the opening scene where they introduced Bucky in the therapy room. I thought that was awesome. I thought the therapist made some really good points. Like you've been alone your whole life. You have no family. Like Steve's not around anymore. Like, and basically just like deep diving into his past and his history. I just thought that was dope, and kind of hearing like his side of it too. He's like, I just want peace. Like I said earlier, like I've been at war for 90 years basically. So
he said like, quote, I spent 100 years fighting without breaks, and then like the only break I got was when I literally evaporated in the dust.
He said a brief calm in Wakanda.
Yeah, he's like I evaporated in the dust and I woke up and I'm immediately back in a war. He's like, there's no point in my life when I wasn't like, in a fight to the death basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really got to feel for the guy.
Yeah.
Like, you think about like what a normal soldier goes through PTSD, but then Bucky's like times 100. And it's like shit that wasn't even in his control. Like he remembers doing all those like assassin missions or assassinations. And then but he also has the remorse of not wanting to do them. And it's like wasn't even his fight. Like he had no like he can't even justify to himself like I don't know, like whatever I'm not an expert on PTSD, but like usually you say like I did it to save like my troops or my squad. Yeah. Like he's just like I was just a puppet.
Like he says first of all that in the scene beginning of episode 4, the most recent one, when he's at it's like the flashback of him at the campfire in Wakanda, and then there's like they do like the final test of saying like the keywords and seeing if he like reacts or not.
Oh yeah, dude, that scene was heavy,
bro. That might be the best acting I've seen in the MC. It's like in the MCU, maybe.
Yeah.
Like I was blown away by that. like
Yeah, because you don't really like get like quote unquote like great performances by actors in the MCU just because it's like an action movie and it's fast paced. But like that, yeah, like that scene like right there hit the fucking heart, bro.
Dude,
ton of
like,
emotion.
Yeah.
That on top of the scenes with Mr. Nakajima, like all of the Sebastian Stan has been putting on just a kick-ass performance and showing how like fucked up he is from the Winter Soldier is from everything that's happened. It's the Nakajima scenes and the Wakanda scene have been so sad. It's
bro, he like rough. You see the fear in his. He goes through every emotion. Like you see the fear when she's saying the first couple words.
Yeah.
And then like he's like you see the emotion of like regret, and it's all like in one shot basically. Like in like to chop it up a little bit, and then at the very end when she's like, "I think you're free," and then he just turns like from like sad cry to like happy cry in an instant, and you see him. You're like this relief, like this weight off his chest of like, "Fuck, I'm finally like for the first time in literally like 80 years, I'm like human being again." And I don't know, dude, it just hit me really hard, like how
his whole
how much
process is kind of like a drug addict going through rehab, where he's like going through therapy, he's being talked down. He has these like this step program, like where the therapist is like, "What's rule number? Like rule 1, rule 2,"
Mm-hmm.
and then in I think it's episode 2, he's like, when him and Falcon have that like couples therapy session, and he stops. He's like, "What's rule number 2 again?" Because he's about to relapse and go hurt someone again.
Mm-hmm.
And then, even when he was cleansed of like the Winter Soldier mind wash or brainwash, whatever it was, he's like fearful that it didn't work fully. Like whatever process they put him through in Wakanda didn't really work. Like he was expecting it to not work. And then, like you said, though, he was just relieved at the end of it.
Yeah, the relief when they finally broke through, and he was just like, fuck, like.
Yeah, I think this show has been like one of the more like I want to say emotional, but like deeper shows and like productions that Marvel has done. Just like you were saying in the in the couple scene when they were like arguing and all this, and he was like, "Why'd you give the shield up?" He's like, Cap gave it to you. If he's wrong about you, then he was wrong about me. And I think that's even deeper than what he was saying. Like how Cap was always saying like you're better than like a soldier, like you're more than that. And then basically he's saying like if Sam just gave the shield up, he's like I said, he's wrong about you, he's wrong about me. So I thought that was like another thing. It's like, damn, that shit.
Because Cap's whole thing was that like Bucky is worthy of redemption. Like that's the whole thing that led to basically the Civil War. So if he was wrong about judging Sam, then that means he was wrong about Bucky deserving redemption. Which Sam or Bucky's not in this because he's jealous that Sam got the shield or resentful or envious. He's in it because he's in this picture as much as Sam. Like he's just as big a part of it. Like it was either him or Sam. So I mean, and he's Cap's oldest friend. Like he's 106 years old, right? Or 106 or something, whatever.
Yeah, I think 106 he says.
I'm glad you brought that up. Not to cut you off, but
yeah, go ahead.
Since we're talking about Bucky in general, I need to know what his Tinder profile looked like. I need to know.
That would be so funny. I need
to know what pictures he used. I need to know what his bio was like. It's been in my head ever since I watched that episode. Does Bucky fuck on the first date? Yes or no?
What more does he need than a vibranium arm?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like the answer is always yes. So
he's running all the time. He's got to have a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. And then he could also like his Tinder profile.
Actually, he's rocking the hair, man. I feel like the girls love the long hair.
Yeah, the long hair.
Yeah.
He looks older with it. Well, obviously Sebastian Stan's getting older, but like he looks older without the long hair.
Dude, that'd be so funny. Like,
and yes, Bucky does not fuck on the first date. He's from the 1940s, the golden era. They have chivalry.
He brought
her flowers, bro.
Yeah, he did bring her flowers. Yeah.
Can you imagine like his pictures, like the girls are asking like, oh, like nice like black and white filter on your picture, and he's like, oh yeah, it's a filter.
It's him in his army suit from like Cap, the first Avenger, like his draft suit.
Yeah, she's like, oh, is that your Halloween costume? He's like, no, I was literally in the second.
No, this was me at the USO show in 1944.
Yeah. But
you don't know how long I had to sit still to get this picture to develop.
Going off of the therapist scene where he says if Cap was wrong about you, he's wrong about me, whatever. that goes off of like that kind of leads me to the pedestal that they put Captain America on in this series, and like rightfully so, where it's like even like Bucky's like he's like Cap's been right about everything for like like 10 years kind of thing. Like he's just like he's so like on top of everything, like, and he's so like pure of heart and all this shit. And there's like the quote where it's like I can cut this out, blah blah blah. But he basically says like uh about the super soldier serum, where he's like, oh, if only everyone could take it like Steve Rogers did, and then Zemo goes, yeah, but there's only one Steve Rogers.
Yeah, that was a good line too.
Even Zemo acknowledged that because, and this leads to John Walker eventually taking the serum, where like John Walker, like as a normal human being, everyday life, he's probably a good guy. Like
He
he's
sucks.
no, all right, he's not a villain, right? He was an army hero, did what he had to do. He says in the beginning too, like when he's in the locker room, he's like, I just want to feel like a real hero, not just like it's a sham or whatever it is. Like John Walker in everyday life, comparatively, is probably a good guy, but he has like his ego, his expectations, his pressure
It's fear.
that corrupts him once he takes a serum. So that stuff gets amplified. And then he just becomes overwhelmed with all this pressure to live up to the mantle of Captain America, which has been thrusted upon him. And it's just like he's in a lose-lose situation. Like he's never going to fill those shoes fully, and he can only fail basically. He's basically just like a substitute, a half-ass substitute. Because he's not even a super soldier at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And all that paranoia, pressure, it all gets to him, and that's what makes him corrupt. But I think Wyatt Russell plays it well. Like he's getting a lot of hate online, but it's not because of his.
I think he's doing a really good job.
Yeah, his performance is great. Like he's playing the role that they want him to play. Like you're supposed to like hate this guy, but it's the same as what's her name? What's her name? All right, no one talk. Hold on, so cut this out.
I can take over for you because I have some points about John Walker too. If you want me to take over while you're looking for whoever you're looking for.
Yeah, God knows.
It's like Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter. I don't know how that name is.
Umbridge.
Yeah, like the actress.
Let's stop with the Harry Potter.
But whoever plays her they played the role well, but you hate that character.
Like Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
why it was like Joffrey, Cersei.
Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm saying though. Like
it's like the real life actor gets death threats when there's like I'm literally just doing like my job.
Yeah, but this is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a cringy version of Captain America, like bad.
You're supposed to be the heel and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So for Walker, though, since we're talking about him taking the serum and all that, I think, and I was talking to Gavin about this a little bit too, the most stark contrast that I found between Steve Rogers and John Walker was I rewatched Civil War and all 4 episodes, and every time, I guess not every time, but every time that we meet him, or we see him meet someone of equal strength or whatever, like the Dora Milaje, for example, he says John Walker, Captain America. Mm-hmm. John Walker, Captain America. He has to himself, he has to reinforce the fact that he is Captain America. And Steve Rogers, to my knowledge, has never once introduced himself as Captain America. It's always, I am Steve Rogers.
I am Groot. I am Steve Rogers.
Right. Yeah. He never used the Captain America name to define himself. And that's all John Walker has done since he got it is I am Captain America. I am the authority. Like when he broke Bucky out of jail, the therapist was like, who authorized this? And he said, me.
Yeah.
He's hot shit now. So that's, I think, you are right, Gavin, that he overall is probably a good dude. Like all things considered, like normal people talking to one another, whatever. But his ego it shows itself in subtle ways, and it's a big, big fucking ego.
I agree.
That's what leads to him.
That was a really good point, Nick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up, like the defining differences between John and Steve. For me, what really like signified it was when Battlestar dies and he goes on the infamous murderous rampage where we leave episode 4 off. with the bloody shield, kills whoever killed him.
Great shot, by the way.
Rage.
Yeah, I was about to say, great scene.
Great scene. Yeah, but it was also like showing his rage. But you can go back to Captain America: The First Avenger when Bucky dies, and Cap didn't go on like a murderous rampage. He stuck to the mission. You know, he stuck to his what he knew to be true of like how he should be acting in his position with his gifts. Like he didn't let it deter him from the mission to get Zoloft. Yeah, he that to me was like the big difference. Like that signified it. It was like you took a loss, but you're in battle. Like there's a bigger game to be played here. Like there's more at stake than like he's just a down soldier. Not that, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, I understand.
That happens. It happens in battle. Like he's, you know, casualty of war. Stick to the plan.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because that conversation that him and Battlestar Lamar Hoskins have at that table where Hoskins is like, yeah, you should take the serum. You always make the right choices in the heat of battle, blah, 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 whatever. Literally, 5 minutes later, dude is decapitating a guy in the middle of the street with a bunch of iPhones recording him. Like,
yeah,
it's a really, really big juxtaposition of he doesn't necessarily make all the right choices, obviously. And when it comes to his friends and family, he becomes far more emotional and more easy to throw off his game, which Steve Rogers, I mean, I guess you could argue Bucky, he has a blind eye towards him. But other than that, like Steve would never do what John Walker did.
Yeah. It's also, I like the evolution that they had for John Walker in like a short amount of time too. He's really not in the show like that much, but the evolution of him, like building up to him finally deciding to take the serum, because like you constantly see that like that doubt that he has, that clearly like eats at him to no end. And then I like that they showed him, like he has a chance to take the serum, right? And he's like, all right, maybe I'll need this in the future, because the whole time he's like unsure of himself. And then the next time you see him, he gets his absolute ass kicked by whoever it was.
The Wakandas.
Yeah. He's like,
that's what like makes him really think about it.
Yeah, he says like she wasn't even a super soldier. Like it was just like a regular person, just kick my ass. And so he decides like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the serum, and obviously it, expands his anger and self doubt.
So before we get into John Walker, I want to talk about Battlestar, aka Lamar Hoskins. Honestly, the dude is a liability. Like the very first fight scene, John Walker has to save him like 3 different times. He has to throw his best weapon, the shield, to save him. And then on top of that, his costume sucks. Not a fan. Like, John Walker and Lamar Hoskins are supposed to be like special op army dudes. I'd rather him just be like in a vest with an assault rifle than a little handgun and some stupid costume. I don't know. Both
costumes are trash. Normal.
I feel like Lamar's role was supposed to be like to build like for more of like the government branding.
Well, but like, if he's gonna be out in the field with Cap America fighting dudes with guns, like I don't know. But that's
give him like an M16 or something.
Yeah, so I'm saying I'd rather just look like an actual special ops soldier.
Yeah, I hear
you. Be cooler than what. Especially like his vest looks bulky and shit. I don't know. That's just me. But so John Walker at first, I have a note here that in the first 2 episodes, I actually liked him. Like he even said multiple times, like, I'm not trying to be Captain America. Like, I'm not trying to fill his shoes. And you could, like, the very first scene before he went out to the high school field and did that interview, he was talking about how, like, he just wants to do the best that he can and things like that. So I do got to say the first 2 episodes, like, I did think he had the right idea. Like, he had the right mindset. And then even asked Falcon and Bucky for their help, and they said no. So, I do got to say that I did like him the first couple episodes, but obviously starting, like you guys both said, he's starting to make that turn. But I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, I think that him turning, he did go to Bucky and Sam because he knew that those were like Cap's inner circle, like those were his 2 boys. And then once they rejected him, I feel like that's when like the gears started to like kind of jam for John Walker, where
I really don't deserve this kind
maybe
of thing.
he start that doubt started creeping in,
Yeah.
where he's like, all right, this is like real life now. Like this isn't like I can't just like I convince the American public, but I can't convince like the two people that matter. That
Yeah,
knew
so like
Steve the
he's
most.
like they see right through me, like
yeah, like this is a
he's like, who else can see right through me kind of thing.
yeah, like this is a joke. Like I don't deserve to be here. So he starts getting like imposter syndrome, and I feel like that's where like the doubt and like
It really was
ego,
like
all the
it
bad
really
stuff
was
starts coming
like
in.
a perfect storm to him kind of making that turn, where it was like it starts with like his own self doubt, and then it's like, oh shit, like Bucky and Sam don't believe me, and then I'm getting my ass kicked, and then he's like, I can't do anything, like I'm just a regular guy with a
and then
shield.
my best friend dies.
He's again, I can't protect my best friend, like fuck it, I'm just like, and he takes the serum, and then it kind of, makes him really angry.
Well, that's a good point, Bo, and that's something else that we're still kind of talking about Battlestar, but another John Walker comparison is that when Hoskins dies,
Mhm.
Walker's already taken the serum, right? So he's already super soldier. He's supposed to be Captain America 2.0, whatever. Dude looks like Homelander, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen The Boys, but I just get
We love the boys.
Love the boys. Love the boys.
Side note. Anyway, so another good contrast between the two of them is no matter how many times Falcon and Bucky and Iron Man and literally name any other Avenger goes into battle with Steve, none of them have died up until Thanos, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The very first fight that they get into with John Walker having the serum, Hoskins dies. Like Steve always found a way to make sure his guys got out safely, and Walker couldn't even do that right the first time. Like he's been parading around as Captain America for however long, 6 months, or I don't even know what the time frame is, but it took him 4 episodes for his best friend to die. So that's another way that the two, it just shows that Walker is not ready to be Captain America. Never has been, never will be.
Yo, another difference, not to like keep going back to this and making comparisons, another difference between John and Steve was Steve also felt that imposter syndrome in the first Avenger when he was like doing the USO shows and wearing the like felt costume.
Punching Hitler every night.
Right, but instead of trying to force himself upon people, he just went out on his own, not telling anyone, and went to go save those POWs.
Yeah.
So he earned it. It wasn't, whereas John Walker feels like it should be given. Like the title and the respect should be given.
Yeah, he literally
Steve went out and earned it.
Who I am.
Yeah, Steve went out and earned it, like without no lights, no cameras, like just went out and did it because he knew it was the right thing to do. Where John's doing it because he's like, why don't you respect me? Like you should be respecting me. Like trying to force it upon people.
Yeah, exactly. And
definitely more of a douche than Steve.
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah, and you could even see before he kind of becomes douchey, he's just like his whole like the first time he meets Bucky and Sam, like you would think just out of like sheer like reverence for like Captain America who basically just died, you think it would be like a more like kind of sincere thing. But like even the way he kind of comes off, even though it might not be intentional from him, he's just like, oh hey you guys doing? I'm the new Captain America. You hop in the Jeep. Like it's just like a weird kind of like, I don't know. I was kind of put off by it. Like so I can't even imagine like how those characters would feel. That like
being called wingman, I'm sure didn't help either.
Yeah, exactly. And he kind of like insults
him.
He kind of insults him, accidentally. Like I don't know. It's just like his whole everything about him is off. Just like it's like just slightly off. Like
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. This kind of like in general. So this is how many years after Thanos? Like
this is a couple months after Endgame.
So it was like right after Thanos.
Right after Endgame.
All right, so obviously
I'm gonna have a seizure looking at Gav right now.
yeah. What's going on over there?
I was just going downstairs.
Please don't. Okay.
All right. But yeah. So spoiler alert: Tony Stark is dead.
Yeah.
They're making it out to seem that Steve Rogers is dead. So I guess So like with that being said, is there no longer an Avengers? Like, is there no one that's overseeing all the superheroes on Earth? Because the way that the way that John Walker's walking around, like going about things, I feel like he doesn't really like they don't really show like the resources or like any help. It's just him and Battlestar just like kind of bullshitting around. Like what's going on?
So I feel like the world kind of like there is no Avengers right now. They kind of feel at ease now that Thanos is gone. Like they probably felt like, all right, we haven't had any like universal galactic issues in how many years? Thanos was the only one. Like this isn't really a need right now. And then so I feel like everyone's just kind of chilling and trying to get Earth back in order with like Flag Smashers trying to restore. Like everyone's coming back. They got like a billion.
Yeah, but I'm saying like where's like the government? Like aren't they like and like where's the rest of like the Avengers?
Well, Shield's disbanded, who usually handled all this, and I thought it was like kind of like a funny thing where it's like Shield falls, Cap dies, Sam gives up the Shield, and now Sword is the next thing. So it's kind of like we're putting the Shield, as in like Nick Fury Shield and also Cap Shield to bed, and we're moving on to the next phase. I don't know. That's stupid, but
no, I mean I get what you're saying, but like
so Sword is going to be next because they showed Nick Fury in Sword, and then what's her name from WandaVision? They all work for Sword.
Rambo? Or
yeah, Rambo.
Yeah.
So that's going to be next. Sword's going to come in. Probably they're not going to introduce. I mean, they did introduce them in the series, but like they're going to have a bigger presence in the next movie, probably. Maybe in Spider-Man. Maybe in Spider-Man 3.
I think we should kind of break it down. To answer Norm's question, I think we should kind of break it down. Steve is presumably dead or just super fucking old. Iron Man's dead. Thor is in space with Guardians.
Off-world.
Off-world. Banner's fucking arm looks like a Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket, so like that's gone. He's gone.
Black Widow's dead, right?
Is, I guess, retired with his family. Nat's dead. Yeah, I mean,
I guess you guys both make good points. Like, I guess Sword's kind of taken over, and then there's not really not anyone really around. But I guess that's like I meant like there's no like I feel like there's no organization behind John Walker at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just
kind of out there on his own.
Yeah, but this is like months after Endgame where everyone just returned. Like this is probably like the same timeline where Far From Home has taken place, if not before that.
This happens like 5 months before Far From Home.
Really?
Far From Home, I think, is like a year after the snap or whatever, or it's something like that. I don't know the exact time frame, but I know for sure that this happens before Far From Home.
Really?
This is WandaVision.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
It's got to be, which also I find a little funny too, that if Far From Home, I guess he's in Europe and Italy, but you would expect that they might, like, these have to be small scale shows, like small scale events in general, because they don't talk about it in Spider-Man. Like you would think that they would talk about like, hey, remember that time that New Jersey town got swallowed by that red bubble?
Nick, we talk about this all the time. That's my biggest pet peeve with these movies. Everything is, and I appreciate the show even more that it's like a small scale thing of just them going through Latvia or whatever. Like I'm so sick of like every movie being like a galactic world-ending fucking event. Like I yearn for more of these like small scale like a buddy cop show basically is what this is in a way, you know?
Yeah, but like also it works out because Spider-Man is basically the cast is full of high school kids. Mm-hmm. Like they wouldn't be paying attention to foreign affairs when like they're going on a Euro trip.
No.
But like I feel like that issue you have though is more of a DC issue than Marvel because I feel like Marvel does do a good job in tying everything together.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that like we're facing a giant army should be reserved for like the Avengers 1, 2, and 3. You know what I mean? Like, and then have everyone have their own. Yeah, I guess you're right. It probably is more of a DC issue. Event. Yeah, it probably is more of a DC issue, but
definitely a DC issue.
Yeah, just save like your alien invasion movies for like team up movies, you know. So they're doing the right thing here.
Yeah. So Actually, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say.
One thing I thought was cool that for some reason I never thought of, which is weird because this is usually the dumb shit like that I nitpick at. They ask in like the first episode where Sam basically like doesn't have the money for his sister's thing, or whatever. They say like, "Oh, like wasn't Tony Stark paying you?" Like he's like, "How'd you guys make money?" And he's like, "Oh, it was, yeah, we had like a little system in place, whatever."
Like goodwill.
He's like, "Yeah, it was goodwill, but basically like, yeah, I don't have any money now." But I was thinking, I'm like, damn, like they did all that and they weren't on like a payroll kind of thing.
Why
Yeah,
would
that's
but why would
bull-
Tony Stark pay them? Like
'Cause
why
he's,
wouldn't
like-
why wouldn't humanity pay them?
Not even
Yeah.
Tony Stark. Like the American government should,
Exactly.
Yeah,
should label it as like their contractors and just pay them.
Even
out.
especially after the Sokovia Accords, where they signed a contract to
Yeah.
be.
Absolutely.
I guess Sam didn't.
And that's
technically
what
sign
Sam's
that.
doing now, isn't it? Sam's doing like military contract work.
Yeah, but like someone should be paying his bills, and like the U.S. government, whether or not he was, he went AWOL or was like on the run for however many years with Cap, they should like throw him a bone. Like this dude literally fought Thanos. Like
Yeah,
throw
you
him
shouldn't
a
have
bone
any
and like
debt at all.
pay for their goddamn boat or their house or whatever they're in trouble with. Like that's the least they could do. Like, and if
But
I'm like a U.S. citizen in the MCU, I have no problems with my tax dollars going to helping an Avenger pay their mortgage.
I think it's fucking
Yeah.
absurd that Sam has to go to a bank to get a loan for a boat.
And beg like
literally, dude, he begs. It's so sad when he's like, "Can you do the wings?" And he's just like, "Oh," like,
right,
you
like
see-
especially after the guy recognizes him as like a fan and like dude,
yeah.
that's
And
so
dude,
disrespectful.
They pardoned Bucky, who, by the way, I just realized today when I looked up that little Wikipedia timeline. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Bucky killed JFK.
Oh no way!
Did you guys read that? What I sent you?
No,
Dude,
I did.
Chance to look at it
Bucky-
before we hopped on.
Bucky killed JFK, and I'm like, they pardoned him, and he's just walking around. like,
That's funny.
I was like,
Is
I
it
don't-
like public knowledge though? Like, or is it just...
bro, I don't know. Like, I'd have to go back and watch Winter Soldier again because maybe they mentioned it. I forget. It's been a while since I've seen it. But like, I'm like, damn, they really have to throw that in there. Like, that's a pretty major like historical event.
anything else? Like, is there anything else we missed in that?
He killed Tony's parents. That was kind of big.
Well, we knew that. But...
Yeah, I was confused about Bucky's timeline because maybe I just remember it wrong, but like I thought he was like Cap, where he basically like was basically on ice for decades, and then they started to use him for the thing. But then he says like, "Oh, I met this guy back in '51," so like, and I looked it up, and basically they rescued him almost immediately. Gave him the new arm, and then every time they'd send him on a mission, they'd wipe his mind and then put him back on ice. So that's
Talking
why.
about Hydra.
Yeah, talking about Hydra. Yeah, exactly. So basically, that's how he like, even though he's lived for 60 years or 80 years or whatever, he's technically only lived for like 3 of those years because he's like he kills someone and then immediately gets put on ice for like 5 years or whatever. So
Yeah,
that
super soldier serum definitely helps your aging process too.
that helps too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can we talk about the black super soldier Isaiah? Like, what do you
Isaiah
guys?
Bradley. I love
Yeah,
that.
like-
I love that.
Yeah, like that's a nod to the comics, right?
Yeah,
big
he's
time.
was he Captain America before Steve Rogers, or was it?
He was during a period where like the Marvel buyers kind of got tired of Captain America, Steve Rogers being like a Boy Scout, so they tried to like shift it up. I think it was like he was like during like the Vietnam. Well, you said 50s, Bill, right?
1951.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it was, like-
I probably Korea, like during
Yeah,
that
it was
time where
Korea.
it's like a different vibe in the country, but he wasn't before Steve.
I thought something in the comics is I didn't know who Isaiah Bradley was when I first watched the show, and
Do
then
you mean chronologically, or do you mean like actually like when the comics in our world came out?
Well, his first appearance was in 2003, but he was in
Yeah.
depicted as an early product of the Super Soldier program during World War II. So,
Oh, okay. So we're both.
but he's a much newer character. 2003.
I know Eli Bradley, the grandson, is something Patriot, Young Patriot, or
Oh, was he?
something like that.
That's cool.
Oh, really? That's cool. They set that up. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
it's
I don't wanna
all
see
Young
that.
Avengers stuff. Like we're going, you know how the Netflix shows have like the Defenders. I would bet money that the Disney Plus version of that is going to be the Young Avengers, because they have the kids from WandaVision. Now they've got Eli Bradley. It's only a
Yeah.
Do you
matter.
want to see that though? Does anyone want to see that?
Dude,
It
someone
might be
does.
for like younger kids.
Yeah,
That's what
if
I'm
it's
saying.
called
though.
the Young
Like, it's gonna
Avengers,
be, like,
then
campy, it's gonna be it's not gonna mean
Man,
anything.
I'm probably not gonna be watching it.
Like, I'd rather have quality over quantity. Like, I don't want to just.
If they're making it. There's a market for it.
yeah, for sure. They
Since we're talking about, like, I guess we were talking about Bucky. I need to know, when are we going to get into Zemo, because I have a lot of thoughts about
Get into it
Oh,
right now.
yeah,
let's go.
go off, bro.
Come on, you're our guest.
Zemo is.
And you're depicted as Zemo in our art. Spoiler.
I am so grateful for it, because Zemo is the best part of this entire show. I rewatched Civil War today, and I cannot believe, one, how good an actor Daniel Bruhl is in general.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
He's
Yeah,
awesome.
he kills it.
I love him in Inglourious Bastards, by the way, too.
He murders it. He's just phenomenal. But so I rewatched the scene where they bring him in, and they're in the garage, and they're like, "What's he doing here?" or whatever, da da da. And he starts to talk, and both Sam and Bucky are like, "Shut up," and he's like, "Apologies," and just like steps back. I cackled. I was on my couch last night, and I just cackled because it was so funny.
Yo, his dry humor is like on par with the best of them. Like, even when like they're talking about Trouble Man on the jet again, and he's just like, it perfectly encapsulates the African American experience. And then Sam's like, he's out of line, but he's right. Like
the best lines in the entire show. He's just incredible. And as a villain, like, I'm kind of like, when John Walker put the handcuffs on him and like put him up against the wall or whatever, I was rooting for him to get out and just clock him in the head. Like, I love Zemo. I hope that I don't know necessarily how it's going to play out. I'm assuming that with the Wakanda show coming out, there might be like a tie-in of them trying to get Zemo back, because I can't imagine that they would have Zemo captured by the end of this. I hope not anyways. But I want more Zemo on my screen at all times. He's just so good.
He steals a show. Like, even like, Bo, you mentioned this about I forget what villain it was, but it's like, when he's not on the screen, you're wondering what he's doing. Like,
talking about Joker. That was Joker.
Yeah, Joker in Dark Knight.
Like, even like when he's like luring that little girl. That sounds bad, but I guess with the candy and he's singing that song. Like, dude, like, this dude, I don't know. He kills it though, but
he's a schemer.
He's fascinating. He's fun to watch.
My favorite, like, another line I like of his too is when they so like in his mind, it's basically been like 2 days of like everything's like smooth sailing basically, and like at the very end, like they handcuff him to like the thing. And he goes aggressive, but I get it. Like, he's like, yeah, you shouldn't trust me. You're right. Like, I thought that was so fucking funny.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but when Bucky's having that very first scene with the therapist, and they do that flashback of his little book, Zemo's in that book. He's on the list.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Ooh,
that might be like
his book of amends, he was calling it. So
maybe at the end of this, Bucky tries to turn on him.
I mean, we'll see.
Well, Zemo saw his name on that list too, because remember in the plane he's like flipping through it, and he's on the same page that his name is on. So
say that again.
His Zemo, when he's on the plane and he's looking at Bucky's book, he's on the same page that like his name is.
Oh, was he?
So he knows that he's on it, which they've got to wrap that up some way where they at least talk about it or do something, because I'm curious why Zemo is even on his amends list anyways, because it's not like he did anything personally to Zemo. So I don't really know why he's on it to begin with. Do you guys have?
I think amends is a clever way of saying kill the people that wronged me.
I think it's just more of like, get back at him, because the amends, he was saying how the one senator took advantage of.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he made amends with her by getting her arrested, put in prison. So I think it's more of just like get even or get back in some type of way. But like I said, Zemo was on it, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yo, he's funny though. Like, even like during that whole fight scene in the last episode with like the Wakandans and the super soldiers, Falcon, Winter Soldier. Zemo's just chilling back, drinking whiskey, like just chilling, just watching. Like he's just like watching. Like I'm like, dude, this is like how I watch like a UFC fight. Like it's just like entertainment.
He like slowly closes the door to his like.
Yeah.
The one fight scene with Sharon Carter where like we're surrounded by the sea boxes, that was fucking epic.
Yeah, the shipping dock.
She was taking
the sea boxes.
The sea boxes.
Isn't that what they are?
Shipping
containers.
Crates.
Containers. Did you guys like the introduction of that they're bringing Wakanda into this?
Yeah, I do.
I thought that was I did not see that coming at all.
I didn't see it coming, but it makes sense because like Infinity War, we find Bucky in Wakanda. Like obviously he's gonna be like indoctrinated into their system now, and like I like the whole White Wolf thing where Falcon calls him the White Panther, and he goes, actually it's the White Wolf.
Yeah.
No, I meant more from the standpoint of like they want Zemo dead because they killed T'Chaka.
Oh well, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
I know it makes perfect. It makes total sense. I'm just saying. I'm like surprised that they like.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Does a good job with continuity.
Yeah.
Where it's like they call things back from a movie 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys saw this, but with the next episode, there's supposed to be some big cameo or whatever. And I think they've already said that it's not going to be Chadwick Boseman.
Well,
they would have already told us. I think if that
you don't say.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, rest in
peace. I mean,
rest in power, King.
Yeah, dude, that's
some digital shit like they did with
Nah, come on, it's too soon for that.
Yeah. But I'm curious if one going into the Wakanda stuff. I don't know if like maybe it's a flashback of Wakanda with like Shuri or not Shuri, because I guess they said that it's gonna be someone who hasn't been in the MCU before. But
oh really? I would be so disappointed if it was Shuri.
Yeah. Well, I just in general, like what if whether it's Wakanda related or if it's like an Isaiah Bradley flashback, which I would love to see. I would love to see him kick Bucky's ass in 19.
I would love that too. I love that.
Yeah, because they talked about their fight scene, and Isaiah Bradley even talked some shit where he's like, "I ripped your arm off once. The only reason I like agreed to meet with you is because I want to see if it grew back where you got it back."
He's still kind of husky too.
Yeah, dude. He throws that like dish through the wall.
Yeah. I want to know who that cameo is going to be. I know, like with WandaVision, we all got pumped up for nothing because it was just me being a troll. But
yeah,
I hope that this isn't a similar situation, and I would love to see that flashback, specifically that fight between the two of them. I think would be so fucking cool.
I don't think they'll make that mistake twice, the Paul Bettany thing. Because like once it's like, oh, okay, cool, that was just an actor being a dick. But like if you do that twice in a row, like then fanboys and shit start to like really turn on you. It's like all right, you can't just like straight up lie to people.
Yeah, keep getting our hopes up to watch the shows.
Dude, crazy fans don't take that lightly. Like
yeah,
that would not go.
Now you're just fucking with us. Like
yeah, it's like
if you don't have anyone, then you don't have anyone. But don't promise us someone and then bait and switch us.
Yeah, exactly.
So who do you think it's going to be?
Mine is. I hope it's Isaiah Bradley. That's my hope.
Yeah, but how? Like they said, it's going to be like he's already in it. Like he's already introduced.
Right, but the character's in it, but the younger version of himself is not.
I think it's going to be
Michael B. Jordan.
Why not?
That's what I was going to guess.
Just in a new role. Like,
I mean, Disney has the money, obviously. So I don't know.
No, I'm just saying Michael B. Jordan because like he's every new black actor like that, or every movie that requires a black actor is like Michael B. Jordan.
What about
he's the new face of Hollywood.
I'm trying to like tie this into like Thunderbolt Ross a little bit because think about I think they're gonna try to make him Red Hulk somehow. I don't know. Yeah, and then also we haven't seen Betty since the Incredible Hulk, so maybe she could be coming, whether she's recast or not. Like
you also haven't seen Edward Norton since the Incredible Hulk.
I know, but like, come on, Betty is always like that's like the Hulk's love interest. Where like I feel like she should have popped her nose in. So I feel like
you think they would have brought her back at some point by now.
But she doesn't really like. I'm trying to think how they could tie her into this. I'm only thinking like maybe Thunderbolt Ross is like with the government and like these guys. This is kind of like a government show, kind of where it's like I don't know, but
Norm, what do you think? Who do you think?
Drawing at straws
Who do you
here.
think the flashback's going to be?
Well, did they confirm it's a flashback? Like that's what's gonna happen?
I'm just assuming. They said what I've read is that they said it's going to be a well-known actor or something doing a non-recurring bit. So that's why I'm assuming it's a flashback.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
I always like a good flashback for movies
Yeah.
and TV shows. I don't know, man. I would really like to see what you said. A young Isaiah, that'd be cool. Him kicking Bucky's ass. I'd like to see that for sure.
That'd be cool if they do like another period piece, like on like maybe in like the Korean War, where it's like they're in the middle of the battlefield.
I love the flashbacks.
Dude,
like,
remember what they did in Ant-Man, where it was like, oh, you thought Captain America was like, it was Captain America, and then 80 years later, Iron Man popped up. But they were like, yeah, secretly the Ant-Man was in like the Vietnam War, like fucking shit up. I love when they do like
crisis too. Was that not how
yeah,
like
he basically stopped it.
Yeah. So I love when they do that kind of. They play with the timeline a little bit. Like maybe Bucky killing JFK is a little over the top, but like I like when they like kind of insert them into like historical events that like, because Sam even like the Falcon says he's like you're telling me there was another Captain America this whole time, and like no, he's like I have the ultimate clearance. Like he's like, how did I not know about this?
Yeah.
Steve didn't even know.
Yeah, so it's like, you know what I mean? Like I love that idea of like there's some shit that's just like so that's been so buried by history.
Yeah.
That like even like people like Sam have no idea that it happened.
Bucky only knows because he just happened to be there.
Because he happened to get his ass kicked by it, apparently.
He happened to catch a roundhouse in the face a couple times from Captain America.
But... He unfortunately knows that he exists.
Yeah. I mean, it would make sense, right? That like they would. I mean, they're doing it now where they replace Captain America almost instantly. Like, why wouldn't they do it back in the 40s?
Right, and this whole show is about Captain America, like indirectly. So why wouldn't they travel more into that lore of it and like their first attempt at replacing him?
Yeah, bro. You look back in the 40s, like cinema and stuff, and like, well, like sports, whatever. They would just replace people, and like the audience would have to go along with it. You know what I mean? Like it was like that kind of thing, like back then, where it's just like,
yeah,
hey, there's no like reruns on TV, so it's like, oh, this guy you think's Captain America. Oh, guess what? There's a new Captain America. Like,
yeah, and guess what? We're putting him in prison for 30 years for no reason as a scapegoat.
Yeah,
so
it's terrible.
It's just so fucked.
So you guys, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Nick, but the way they like, especially like, I feel like it's kind of a theme in this show. Not a theme. I want to say a theme, but like they hinted at it a couple times, like a race thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they put Isaiah in prison because he was black and like the times were different back then?
Yeah, it was the 50s.
I think it was just because Captain America was on ice and like they just wanted to do some tests.
I think I think it's like similar to, like, I hate to call back to Suicide Squad, but I think it's a similar thing where it's like it did Isaiah Bradley, his whole thing did happen in the 50s. So it was like they're like, all right, if this goes wrong, we just blame another black guy, throw him in prison. Like, it's kind of like Suicide Squad. Like, if they fuck up, then we throw them in prison and we blame them. I think.
No, but
is that what
no. I was just asking, like, because I'm pretty sure he didn't do anything wrong.
I think he broke some like international war agreement where like the USA would be liable, but instead the US turned on him and made him personally liable.
All right, that makes sense. I was thinking that they just put him in prison just because he could have been a liability, or they just wanted to do tests on him in the first place.
But I think the message that they're trying to send is that like because he was black, the U.S. didn't do all they could to like help clear his name. And
they touched on race like a couple of times.
They had the whole Falcon and the police stopping thing.
Yeah, they had that, and then his sister at the bank was like, "Oh, you guys don't do this, or you do this to our people, or something like that." So, but I was just curious, like,
do you think that police scene was like always going to be in it, or do you think that was just like a product of the past year we had?
I think they definitely throw it in there because of.
I was going to say I disagree. I think this was filmed and wrapped like not way before, but I think they wrapped like before the pandemic. Like they were in post production when the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they really?
I'm not totally sure, but I'm like 70-80% sure that they were like all the scenes were filmed, everything was shot. They were just adding in special effects or whatever when the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's easy to call 2 actors back and a couple extras to film one scene if you want to send like a political message.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't, I mean, even if it was filmed before, like I feel like in the past 5 years, especially, it's just still been that.
Yeah, it's always been.
Yeah, no,
it's always
it's been
a
relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been relevant.
And where are they at in Baltimore?
They're in Baltimore.
Yeah, so I mean, it
was like an inner city, and he's a white dude.
Yeah.
Like so, I mean, I get it. I'm not mad about that scene or like it's not over the top or whatever.
I think it plays out great because like the very scene before that is Falcon correcting the little kid for calling him Black Falcon. So he's
incredible scene, by the way.
He's right there saying he's like, this has nothing to do with race. And then the very next scene, you got a cop pulling him over because of his race, which is like, all right, like.
And then Bucky's the one who gets arrested.
I like that they did that. Like I like that. I don't know. I like how they did it, where it's like it was like in the same like it was within 3 minutes of each other. Those two scenes.
I love that whole Baltimore scene, like this, the cops coming, the Black Falcon. The Black Falcon was so funny. It was incredible.
Did you guys hear the story of how when what's his name? The actor who plays Sam. What's his name?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie got casted as Falcon. He like asked Marvel to change his name because Anthony Mackie's from Louisiana, so he's a big Saints fan, and the Saints' rival is the Falcons. And
make it any other bird but the Falcon.
He was on like First Take or something doing it. He's like, if you listen to me closely, I never refer to my character as Falcon. I always refer to him as Sam. But
it's funny.
Damn. Funny. Talk about pushing your luck. You get like the best gig in the world, and you're like, yeah can we change the name?
Like by the smallest margin too. It's like it happens to be Falcon.
I love too like that scene ends where it's like
Panthers are.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Where he's like, there's that whole thing with like Sam's arguing with the cops, and then at the end it's like Bucky gets arrested because he missed a court date, or he missed a therapist date.
Yeah.
Which is like, I again, this guy's still an Avenger. Like, imagine just arresting an Avenger like off of like some fucking
missing a therapy session.
This is a therapy. It's like, all right, dude, this
just get away if I want to right now.
Like, you don't think he's up to better shit?
Like, yeah, like give give him a break, you know.
Well, I guess judging by his track record, his better things would be like assassinations. So I guess it just does keep him in one spot.
Yeah, it's true.
Yo, do you guys think that they're gonna maybe bring the therapist into like a fight scene or something? Because she's hinted at it twice that she's a soldier.
Yeah, she was an ex special ops or whatever. I hope not.
She says she did a field op with John Walker. I mean, not that I want to see it, but like I feel like they're the second time they pushed.
I guess they're similar in age then, right? They don't have to be, but no, just keep her like
names.
I said they would probably have to be similar in age. Like she's not. I feel like no, but I think she's much older. Like I don't want to see
but
that.
I'm just saying, like she said she's a soldier in like multiple times.
I feel like her. I think we've seen the last of her character.
I hope so. She's a shitty therapist too. She sucks.
Yeah, she's no Malday.
Yeah.
There was another line like going off like the race thing where like they said like when they were in like that new country Magapur or whatever, where he's Magapur, where Anthony Mackie Sam's like, oh yeah, look, I'm dressed like a pimp, and then Zemo in like the coolest tone ever is like, yeah, only in America would like a forward dressed black man be considered a pimp or whatever. Like, I thought that was funny.
Dead straight face.
Yeah, doesn't smile once. Even in the dance scene, like that 2-second dance montage, he has like the most serious look on his face.
Let's see it, Bo.
No. Yeah, so I don't know. Zemo's the best, man.
I like that whole scene how he and I thought this was gonna kind of like shift the show when Bucky had to kind of pretend to be brainwashed and be the Winter Soldier again. Ooh, I thought something was gonna click where like he was maybe gonna fall back into the mind control. Like I just had a weird feeling about that.
I think that's what he's scared about. I think even though Io and the Wakandans have like fixed him, I think he's still terrified, and I think you can see that in Sebastian Stan's acting. Like he's still terrified of, oh shit, if maybe instead of saying like 1 in Russian, they say 2, it'll like trigger another Winter Soldier code or something. Like I think regardless of of whatever happens, like for the rest of Bucky's life, he's always going to have that fear of, I'm going to slip back into being a Winter Soldier and I won't be able to stop it or control it because it's just ingrained inside me.
Yeah, just like a drug addict, though.
No,
Like,
no one
the
around
littlest
can
push
stop it.
can cause him to relapse.
Yeah.
I will say though, it's super fucking cool when he did turn into the Winter Soldier again, watching him kick everybody's ass, because there's no reason Bucky should have gotten his ass kicked by the Flag Smashers. Like, unless he's following his therapy of like doing no harm or whatever, blah blah blah. Bucky should have been able to handle them easily by himself. Like, there's
No.
no reason why.
They're all super soldiers.
Yeah, but they're super soldiers, but he's an assassin. They're just refugees. Like, he still has training. He's still a master killer. Like,
Yeah, but didn't they say in episode 3 that like this new serum is like more perfected and like more enhanced?
I think what they mean by that is just that because the doctor
You don't
says,
change your physical appearance.
Yeah.
yeah, the doctor says like there's no more clunky machines or bulky bodies or whatever. Like, I think optimized just means that you stay your body shape, but I mean, even if they had like 120% of Bucky's 100% serum or whatever, Bucky still should have been able to wipe the floor with them. Like, I don't see why him and Sam needed Walker and Hoskins' help from the get.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe that's what threw them off.
That
I don't know, they're getting their ass beat.
Yeah, they were getting
their ass kicked before they got in there.
Yeah, but Bucky also got caught off guard because he thought Carly was a hostage, and then she haymakers him off the truck. What'd you say, Norm?
This is the creepiest smile ever.
Yeah, she's a creepy looking girl.
She's also the same girl in Solo.
Yeah.
Is she? But yeah, but like you were saying, like by perfected, he means like, in theory, if Steve Rogers from the 40s were to get the serum, he would stay the same, like scrawny, like looking asthmatic dude, but he would have all of Captain America's ability. So I guess by perfected, he means like more of like more subtle in the sense of like you can blend into a crowd kind of thing, where it's like Steve Rogers turns into a 6'4" fucking linebacker. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're gonna make like a like an assassin super serum, you don't want a bunch of 6'4" linebackers running around.
Yeah, you want it to be more seamless and.
Yeah, you want to make it so like a 5'6" little girl can punch you through a fucking wall, kind of that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. So I like how they like really, you know, hit heavy on Sam, kind of empathizing with their cause.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's like, you guys aren't wrong, but the way you're going about it is. He's like, I'm not trying to stop you. I just want you to like reroute and pivot your motives here.
That's like any good villain too.
Right, like you can understand that. Like we're listening to her talk. Like she's trying to help her people. They're all refugees. They're all like, imagine what it's like when half the population is gone and comes back the next day. Like, you can't. But, I like what they're doing with Sam's character arc, where he's kind of being like he's kind of in the gray here.
Yeah, it's like any good villain where it's like, you're right and you're caught. Like Killmonger, like you're right. You probably deserve the throne. Like Thanos, like. In a way, you're right. Like, we're definitely way overpopulated. But, like, your way of going about it, just killing everyone, is not the way to go about this. So it's like, he's like, I see I sympathize, but at the same time, I can't let you just murder people. Like,
not to bring it back to Steve again, but that's the character development that Sam shows. He does what Steve, I think, always did, where he would try and talk to whoever it was before going in punching first. Like, he was more of a talker, and then last resort, okay, violence. Whereas now Sam is starting to show that too, where Walker is the opposite, where he punches first, asks later.
So that's funny you said that, because Lamar Hoskins literally even said you can't just go around punching everything now. When he first got the suit and the shield.
Yeah. And his first thing is like, you could see him getting antsy, like while they're waiting. He's like, Sam's like, all right, just give me 10 minutes and then you can come in. And then like 4 minutes in, he's like, you see like his foot's tapping and all this shit. And then he's like, all right, fuck it. And I'm going in. And he goes in and he's like, all right, everyone sit down, shut up. Like, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, that's the opposite of what you're like. You should.
Doesn't
be
he like say I'll kill all of you at one point?
Does
He like
say
makes
that?
some kind of threat like that.
He might. Oof. Not a good
I
look.
mean, he does put his shield through a guy's neck, but I don't think he said that to Sam and Bucky and all.
No,
them.
not the Sam and Bucky. I think he said to like a group of like the refugees.
The
He
Flag
might have.
Smashers?
Yeah.
He might have.
Boys, I got to be honest here. I think John Walker is going to get off scot-free for this killing.
Hot take.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he was a soldier. He's been a special ops soldier his whole career. He's got 3 Medal of Honors. So, like, and America hired him. Like, they got to expect he's going to kill someone eventually. And at the same time,
Not like that.
I mean, not like that, but still. And at the same time, that guy was labeled a terrorist in America's government. So, or in the government's eyes. So I think he'll be fine, honestly. So like, he might get some backlash, but I don't think he's gonna get like in trouble per se by the government.
Again,
Right. It might just be like a PR issue.
Yeah,
But they have to like help his.
well, like in the Boys too. Remember in the Boys when Homelander like lasers that guy in half, and they're like, yeah, someone caught it on video. He's like, how? I'm in Africa. Like, how did so? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and then they kind of write off as like a piece. They're like, you need to fix your PR now, like that kind of thing. So it's like I feel like it's something similar where it's like, I don't think the government's gonna bail on him right away. I think they're gonna try to fix it and like spin it in a way where it's like they doctor the video maybe. I don't know. I mean,
now here's a long shot. Maybe the government does give up on him and say, all right, you're no longer Captain America. He doesn't like that. The government also doesn't know that he now has a super serum. He's a super soldier.
yeah.
So now he goes AWOL. And now the government comes to Bucky and Sam, hey, go stop this guy. And then that's when Sam and Bucky go all out, try to get the shield back.
I actually like that route a lot. I don't know how you would tie in the Flag Smashers and Zemo into that too.
Right. Okay.
So I love that idea though of them saying, all right, Walker, you're done. Like, give us the shield back. And he says, no, I'm Captain America.
Right.
And is on the run. And then Bucky and Sam have to go get him. I just don't know how they would. They have a lot of loose ends to tie up in 2 episodes, which I think is similar to WandaVision, that we were all like, all right, well, who's the mechanic, who's this, who's that, and there was like 3 episodes left. This one they only have 2, and granted they're like an hour long, so that it's kind of like 4 episodes if we're talking WandaVision length, but they still have 2 major villains out there in Carly and Zemo, and now they're developing a 3rd villain in John Walker. So I don't know.
And the power broker.
Which we should do theories for the next couple episodes at some point, because that's when I'll drop my hot take on who I think the power broker is.
You already did.
No, that was not my hot take. That was the basic.
Oh.
That was my logically this is who.
All right. Well, this is what I think. I think sorry, Norm.
No, I was gonna say we can just do it now, but say what you gotta say.
I think they're gonna give up on Zemo in the first act of this next episode. Like, they're gonna go separate ways. Like, and whether there's a cliffhanger of like what he's scheming up next, then so be it. We'll see him again. But I think as far as the show goes, I think Zemo's kind of at the end of his course. That is like what they need him for. Because they basically only needed him to find the super serum origins, and they did that. So I think now like they're kind of gonna part ways with that. And then as for Carly, I think this next episode is gonna be heavy on John Walker. And then maybe like episode 6, they'll come back to the Flag Smashers after they take care of John Walker. And then episode 6 will be all about Flag Smashers and the Power Broker.
What do you guys think about? Because I just got
nothing to say that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, maybe.
I just want more Zemo all the time. So if that's the last I see of Zemo, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
he's the best part of the show.
He's great,
hands down.
But I just got flashbacks to in the first Captain America movie. You know how Red Skull takes the super soldier serum, and then it kind of like disfigures him and stuff like that. And he, like, for some reason, he's the only one that becomes the Red Skull. Do you guys think? Because you know, like, there's that famous picture online of it's like Red Skull wearing the Captain America uniform.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You've seen that, right? Do you think
Yeah,
that maybe like they'll like John Walker kind of gets disfigured in a little bit once he turns like full evil?
All right, so I don't think John Walker is that evil where it would disfigure him. I think, and then like you got all these flag smashers who are like running around and they're fine. But I think Red Skull was like an experimental thing in the 40s where it didn't sit right, and now it's optimized and it's like perfected. And
Mm.
also, Red Skull is also a Nazi, which is like as evil as it can get, like down to the core. Like
Yeah, that's true.
like it's like a different, it's like a different tier of evil, like pure out evil. Whereas
Yeah.
John Walker just is dealing with like humanity issues where
It could be something different though, where maybe the serum doesn't mess him up, but like, like the Joker falls into a vat of acid, that's why his skin is white, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, John Walker isn't like Crossbones in Civil War, how he has the building dropped on him and his face is all fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be part of his downfall too, from being Captain America, America's golden boy, blonde hair, blue eyes kind of deal, to now U.S. agent, and his face is all scarred to shit, and looks like.
oh, so you think it will just be like kind of like a collateral damage type thing, like it just happens and
Yeah.
like it's just going to be like a seamless, like a incidental thing that like symbolizes something more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like the America's golden boy falls from grace, kind of.
Okay. That's a good headline.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You running for the Daily Bugle?
I am Jonah Jameson, baby.
It'd be like
picture Spider-Man.
Two-Face in Dark Knight, where kind of like the fall from grace is happening anyway, but then like he gets the half his
like
face
it's metaphorical.
Yeah, metaphorical kind of thing. Yeah, maybe. I'm just thinking of like ways that they can do more like I hate the word fan service, but like I guess it is kind of fan service. You know what I mean?
I don't think they're gonna scar him. I don't, because he already looks like a dusty old version of Steve Rogers anyway, with like the scruff and like the kind of like mean eyes, and I don't know. I feel like that's already, he's not as welcoming. Like he doesn't look as welcoming.
I know we've talked about this already, but the casting of Wyatt Russell is just, it's perfect. Like
it's great. Yeah.
I couldn't think of anyone else to do John Walker other than him, because like you said, Gav, he looks like Captain America, just a few degrees off in the most, I guess, in the most subtle ways.
That's what I was talking about. Just
tell that something's off about him.
Right. Like it's like if you put it if it's on paper, blonde hair, blue eyes,
war hero,
like okay, it sounds like the same person, but then you look at them and there's like something's off. Like this guy's got an edge to him.
Because that goes back to how special Steve Rogers was, because how lucky they got with him, where it's like he's the most pure of heart ever.
A good man.
Yeah, dude, he's the best man that's ever lived, basically, in this universe. Where it's like, think of how many people have. Yeah, he's the one who held the hammer. Like you know what I mean? Like he's the perfect guy. Where it's like, they got so lucky back in the 40s that this scrawny little dude happened to, he's like the Rudy of the military, basically, where he kept trying and trying. And where it's like, how many people in history have taken the serum and have either wound up a scarred, weird Nazi man, a bitter old person, or immediately turned like evil, like John Walker or the flag smashers. You know what I mean? And like it goes back to Zemo's line where it's like, yeah, there's only one Steve Rogers, so this is why the serum can't exist, because we got lucky the first time. We're not going to get lucky any other time. So like, it's not good to have this thing out in the world.
Yeah, I thought, and it's just like kind of going off of that, they totally did a 360 on how they picked Captain America, because Steve Rogers was small, scrawny, had terrible testing numbers, like wasn't athletic, and then
asthma.
Yeah, asthma, and then John Walker, like they literally say like he's testing off the charts. They like MIT did a study on his body, like all this shit. And just the complete opposite of what they originally did for Captain America.
Yeah, Dr. Eskin like foresaw this in the first Avenger, where whereas like John Walker is kind of like the brutes that were like being selected for this experiment, and Eskin's like, nah, that won't work. Like, and remember Tommy Lee Jones is like, this one, like he needs a sandwich, and it's kind of like that, like where Eskin knew like you can't have this, like you can't have known success your whole life. You had to
Yeah, because
earn it.
remember there's
Cherish it.
another guy they
Be
picked before
humble.
Steve
You had to
Rogers.
be humble with it.
Like they talk about it in the first Avenger. Like they say like, yeah, we have a guy that we're like gonna go with, and like the camera pans and it's just like some 1940s jock, like you know what I mean, like the high school quarterback douchebag, and then the guy.
I resent that.
and then the doctor is like, no, trust me, there's something in this kid it's gonna work out. So
yeah, the best leaders aren't chosen. Jon Snow, perfect example to Game of Thrones. It just, you know what I'm saying?
I don't.
Absolutely.
Terrible leader.
Don't know what I'm saying?
He's not a terrible leader. What are you talking about?
I don't want it. He's good. He's all right. I don't know.
What?
It's fine.
I love Jon Snow.
Yeah, how do you hate Jon Snow?
No, I don't hate Jon Snow.
How is he a bad leader?
Honestly, it's all on DB Weiss and David Benioff. They fucked him.
Yeah, they fucked him in the last season, but like, what are you talking about? He united everyone.
Yeah, no, yeah, because he was good.
He led by example. Like he just always did the right thing. Always did what he
So
thought
guys,
was right.
if we would just bang the
Character is
wildlings,
what
we'll
you
realize
do
how
and
cool they
always
actually are.
What do you say about?
He's like, if we would just start banging the wildlings, you'll see that they're not so bad. Like,
Oh, that's got to be such a dirty task.
yeah,
I don't know, man. Anger was kind of bad.
Yeah, but dude,
yeah. But you see
there's
Ingrid's
no
family.
hygiene.
Yeah, they literally don't have soap. Like they don't. Like they.
Thank God they banged in like that hot spring.
Yeah.
I guess that.
All right, Nick. Let me hear your theory.
Yeah, that's very.
Oh, so all right. Y'all have watched Daredevil, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wilson Fisk, power broker.
Ooh.
I would love
No,
that.
they're not bringing him in.
I this is why it's my hot.
I love that though.
I would love that.
So Wilson. So aside from I guess the next obvious answer besides Sharon Carter would be like the power broker himself is a character in the comics, so it could just be that character. But if we're going off the fact that it's someone other than the power broker character, I would love Wilson Fisk to be the power broker. One, because Vincent D'Onofrio kills it. He kills that character.
Mm-hmm.
He is perfect, and he hasn't. They don't consider the shows to be part of the MCU, so he could be one of those characters that they're talking about being like a cameo. Now, I would hope not, because they're saying it's like a non-recurring bit, whatever. But he fits the bill in every way, shape, and form. Like he's even in New York when he's in the Daredevil show, he's mysterious in that like he gives off the philanthropist vibes and whatever, blah blah blah, and then is just bashing dudes' heads into car doors at night. And he has the money to be the power broker. And in the comics, Fisk has the superhuman strength, whatever. So like he could potentially want to take the serum for himself because he is strong, but he's not super soldier strong. So maybe he wants to take it himself. I just think that it would be a great way to introduce the character in advance of Matthew Murdock coming into Spider-Man 3, which is all but confirmed anyways. So that's my hot take. Wilson Fisk, power broker. Give me Kingpin. Give me D'Onofrio. I want to hear him talk about when he was a boy all over again. Give me those fucking stories right now.
Yeah, see, the problem is though, like I want Matt Murdock in Spider-Man 3 defending Peter more than anyone. Like I want that.
Yeah.
But like if they go back and backtrack that, then they gotta like answer the question of, well, why weren't the Avengers mentioned in Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage?
It could be,
and like barely in season 1 of Daredevil.
So
there's pictures of the Hulk on the wall. Like it says the Battle of New York. The Hulk fights Thanos, whatever.
I just feel like like the timelines don't add up, and then it kind of ruins the perfect continuity that the MCU already established, and it kind of like makes things messy for them. But I guess they could pull some strings with the multiverse. I don't know.
Yeah, they can figure that
That's
out.
what I was going to go with. It could be a multiverse thing, and there's another point that I forgot to add of Fisk being able to run things from the shadows, like he does in prison in season 2 or whatever. Like he runs gangs from inside the prison. So if we're talking about Zemo being the power broker and running stuff from inside the cell, like we've already seen it before. So another reason for Fisk. But anyways, the multiverse, they could pull some shisty shit and like yank him out of another universe and be like, oh shit, here's a new version of Matthew Murdock. The timeline, I think they've already fucked up the timeline before. They fucked up the timeline with what was it? Not Endgame. It was something. There's some other movie where like the timelines don't make sense, and I can't think of it right now.
Oh,
there's a
Spider-Man
couple.
Homecoming where it's like
Probably.
8 years.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like the time card on the screen doesn't match up with like 2012. It's like 8 years later when it was really like 6.
Yeah. So like I don't think as long as it's not something massive that would fuck up the timeline, I don't see why they couldn't just be like, we forgot to add a couple of years or whatever.
Dude, I don't think the timeline is like that strict where it's like you can't introduce Daredevil. And like he lives, right? At the end of the MCU shows, right?
Yeah, Fisk is alive, yeah.
Yeah,
Fisk and Matt Murdock are both alive, so it's like why can't they show up now? You know what I mean? Like yeah, dude, I love that Matt Murdock. I love that Daredevil. I've been dying to see him pop up in a Spider-Man movie, like I was saying, for ever, like since they introduced him. Like, so yeah, dude, bring Fisk on. Because
I want Fisk and I want John Bernthal back as the Punisher. Trash the rest of them. I love Bernthal as the Punisher. I think.
See, but like my thing now moving forward is like, why didn't they do this years ago? Because I want to see John Bernthal, like Punisher, interact with Steve Rogers. Because like in Civil War, that was a big interaction.
Yeah.
Where Punisher like was like worshiping the ground Captain America walked on, and Captain America beat the shit out of him because he's like, "You're a murderer. Like I don't like you." Like he's like, "We don't align." It's like things like this, like even introducing like the Fantastic Four. You're gonna have Reed Richards not go head to head with Tony Stark. Like now it's just like I feel cheated out of that. Like I want to see them all interact. I want to see Wolverine talk to like
it's better than nothing though. Like I mean
but like you don't want to see like Cap and how Tony Stark.
Okay,
like,
but there's more stories to tell. Like
I guess,
the only
but they all come back to like.
Bro, there's 50 years of Fantastic Four stories. Like there's more than just like quick banter with Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, but RDJ's banner makes a lot of
yeah, all right. Well, he's dead, so.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but since we're kind of talking about the MCU shows, or I guess not the Marvel shows, did you guys notice that the girl that died, her name's Madani? That's the same name as the detective in
Oh shit!
Wait, say that again.
The police officer in Punisher, the one that.
Oh, I didn't get through that.
Dude, Punisher? You can finish that. But
Punisher's
fantastic.
Is it? I got like halfway through the first
it's like
season.
Badass, but anyway,
it's very depressing, but it's very good.
Yeah, that's why I stopped.
The detective or I think she's in the FBI actually. Her last name is Madani. I don't know if they're gonna tie that in or not, or that's a coincidence.
Fuck, bro! I knew I recognized that name.
Dude, as soon as he said it, I was like, oh, that sounds so familiar, and then I was like, yo, that's the girl's name from Punisher. But yeah, so I don't know if that's a coincidence or they're gonna tie that in, but I just thought that was kind of cool. I feel like it's a random name to be a coincidence, though.
It is.
It's a real random.
What's the name? Can you tell me the name again?
Her name in her name in the Punisher is Dina Madani.
Okay.
And the girl
that's too random. Yeah, it's too.
Yeah, and then like the girl that just died was like their
Donya. Was it Donya Madani?
Yeah, it was something like that, and it was like the whole group was like mentor. So, and I feel like that's a pretty big character, at least for like the flag or flag smashers. So.
Let's keep our fingers crossed that maybe they do intertwine. But I do not want to see like Luke Cage was fine as a supporting role in Jessica Jones and Daredevil, but like on his own, like that show didn't work at all. The Defenders, like I don't care about Iron Fist, like that sucks. That's a knockoff Oliver Queen from Arrow, like I don't want to see that. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like I don't, and Jessica Jones doesn't really have a place right now.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, like Daredevil's like that's the only series that maybe they could only acknowledge the Daredevil franchise.
I don't know, bro. Punisher was fire.
Yeah, don't.
Okay, but I'm saying like you don't have to take like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Like just
they don't got just. I think those two would be. That's all I need.
Bro, Daredevil and Punisher alone are enough to
So good. Those
That's
two.
what I'm saying. Like if they could somehow just like isolate those two and bring them in.
Daredevil seasons 2 and 3 still have like some of my top Marvel moments ever. In
the Bernthal scene with, I don't know if he's with Daredevil or whatever, but when he's in the prison and he just mows through a whole row, like a whole.
While you guys talk about Punisher, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay, I'll keep talking about Punisher.
He mows through like a whole line of prisoners or whatever.
You're talking about when he's like in a flashback in Afghanistan?
No.
Are you talking about Punisher or Daredevil?
Punisher.
When he's in the prison, right? When he meets up with Kingpin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just covered head to toe in blood.
It's such a fucking violent, like.
It's so violent. It's insane.
I guess the violence in that obviously is 10 times worse than the violence that we saw at the end of this last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier to bring it back around.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't seen a scene in the MCU as violent as that last one since the Punisher, like that scene. Because when he's taking the shield and he's just mowing into him, I immediately after I'd watched it, I was like, holy shit. Like especially with that end shot of all the blood on the shield.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe that they did this in a Disney Plus show when the most violence I've seen before this was in like the Netflix Marvel shows.
Yeah, where those are all rated like TV, MA or whatever.
Right.
And like
I honestly thought, because I forget exactly what comic it is, but I remember seeing it. It was a comic when Captain Marvel, and I forget who he was fighting to. I don't know why I said Captain Marvel. Captain America. I forget who he was fighting, but he took his shield and like scalped someone with his shield. I thought that's what he was about to do to.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought that's what he was about to do to the Flag Smasher. I thought that would have been fucking savage, but
that would have been savage. What was that from?
It still was pretty savage, but yeah, I thought that's what he was about to do.
What was that from? Do you remember?
I can't remember. I remember because my boy's brother has a bunch of comics. I was like flipping through it and I saw that. I was like, holy shit. That's what made me want to start getting into comics, because they're obviously a lot darker than the movies are.
Yeah, because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right, you should read some of those the Punisher Max comics from like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Bro, they went on like a 5-year run where they were like, let's have the Punisher do the most like sickening, like fucking gory things humanly possible the human brain can come up with. And they're in those comic books and you're like, fuck. Like,
what are we talking about?
We're talking about the Punisher show a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right.
We you guys have anything more to say, or should we start to wrap it up for this?
You want to hit this, Nick? Your first Storm and Norman Super Showdown.
Yeah. Let's go to the showdown.
All right, let's do it. So who are we saying for the villain this week? We're going Carly, right?
No, let's go Zemo.
No, why you gotta do my boy like that? Shame on you.
He's fighting Norm.
He's not even the villain. Dude.
Let's do Carly.
Yeah, Carly's kill people.
Okay.
And Zemo hasn't?
Not in the show. Oh, he has in the show. He killed that
Killed
doctor.
a whole like assembly of people.
Yeah, he killed a lot of people. That's true.
How about both of them at the same time? Zemo and Carly.
Carly and Zemo. Yeah, no, that's kind of funny because Zemo's just gonna sit there with a little glass of whiskey. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Norm smacks a drink out of his hand.
All right, so you got to go. It's our first handicap match. Our first 2v1.
Like let's do one or the other.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna take Carly.
Just doing Carly.
Yeah, Carly.
Okay.
And you have the Falcon exosuit.
That's his weapon.
Yeah.
No, he has to have a superpower because she's a superpower.
Yeah, well, Falcon's fighting her.
I'll take the exosuit.
Okay. All right, exosuit.
I got Red Wing. I'm good to go.
Okay.
No, Red Wing's destroyed at this point.
All right, bro. Come on now.
Red Wing does kind of do most of the dirty work.
Yeah, bro. Red Wing's like it's like your own sidekick.
Literally.
All right, you can have Red Wing.
All right.
Okay.
Where are we fighting?
You tell us.
Yeah, you tell us. Somewhere in the show.
Somewhere in the show. All right.
Some random European.
Fight her right in that little town square where the one guy just got decapitated.
See, this is why you're like 2-6 at this point. Like, why you can fly and you have jets and everything? Why wouldn't you like fight her on the back of those moving trucks where you can like maneuver and like you're gonna confine yourself to a town square?
Do it in the desert, and then we get the opening episode.
What'd you say?
I said do it in the desert, like where the opening scene takes place of the show.
Yeah, but how's she gonna find me? She's fucking. Nah, you guys, I'm doing it in the town square.
Okay,
He's
okay.
a man of conviction.
Who am I to argue?
Bro, I got a jetpack. I can just fly up and go anywhere I want.
All right.
Fucking A, man.
Yes, you can.
Plus, you know, I like an audience.
You do like an
does,
audience. I'm
Norm
not
does like
gonna
an
lie.
audience.
That does give you like does help
I want
your
to be
odds.
in the audience reporting. That's Robbie.
I'm saying you'll see me kick her ass. All right, so if I got the exosuit,
I'll be next to Zemo with a glass of whiskey.
I got the exosuit. I can fly. I got Red Wing. So, and I got a shit ton of like little missiles and machine guns. So my plan is fuck her up a bunch with the machine guns, missiles, get her disoriented because she's a super soldier. That's probably not gonna kill her, but it could fuck her up a little bit. Get her disoriented, fly close to her, pick her up, and this is where it gets a little tricky. Fuck off. She's disoriented. I'm gonna pick her up, fly high as fuck in the sky, do some Dragon Ball Z shit, wrap her up, fly fast as fuck to the ground. I'm gonna drop her. She's gonna go head first into the ground. Definitely fucked up from that. And then just fuck her up some more with some missiles from Red Wing. And that's a wrap, bro. She's done after that.
No,
Why
Norm,
can't she break your
this
grasp?
is why you're 2-6. This is why you're 2-6.
Why can't she just flex out of you?
Yeah, again, she's super strength and you don't.
She's disoriented by the missiles and machine guns.
You're disoriented by
No, yeah, I was
whatever you're smoking right now. What the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you guys doing? Like, holy shit.
What would I do?
Yeah, what would you do?
What I would not take her like close quarters where she has a super strength.
No, what I would
advantage.
do is I would use the wings as a shield, get her to start punching you, and then have Red Wing come across and get a headshot.
All right, then I'm just gonna have Red Wing get a headshot before that even happens. Like,
So that's why you wanted him.
yeah, but I'm trying to make it entertaining. I'm not just gonna try to shoot her and that's it.
Also,
That'd be a lot boring if I just said, "Yo, I'm just gonna shoot her with Red Wing." And that's it.
you got to consider
Fuck you guys. I'm trying to give the listeners a show.
That's fair.
in the second episode, Bucky jumps out of a plane and drops like 100 feet to the ground, like 100 miles an hour.
They're like
and
tree
it's-
level though.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're dropping her out of the sky, like she can survive a fall.
He's like giving her a seismic toss, like
Yeah, like my momentum plus the jetpack propulsion.
Yeah,
No,
but like
I get what you're saying. Like I think that could probably kill her, like that hit alone. But my thing is like when you're bringing her up, like say you have her grasp like this.
yeah,
Like,
she's gonna.
why isn't she just like gonna? But I
Alright,
guess
well,
she
if
wouldn't.
does
do it,
that,
she'd
then
just
she's
fall.
gonna fall and die anyway. So like,
Yeah.
so fuck y'all. That's a dub.
Look. I think if you can get her in that position where you can like grapple her like that, then you might have a chance.
Nick,
Who's to say that I don't kill her in my initial shots?
That's
Like,
true. You also.
all right. Let's
You also
let's
have
hear our
two
guests.
guns.
Let's hear our guests.
I'm saying.
I do have another question for that too. So you said you're gonna shoot her with a bunch of missiles and shit to like get her disoriented. Are there civilians around? Do you care about civilian casualties?
Norm doesn't care about.
Or
Well,
they-
one, pretty sure the missiles are like heat seeking. They can lock on.
Civilians have heat.
Well, like a specific target I'm aiming for, and also like I'm on my dead shot shit. Like I don't miss, bro. Like
I'm on my dead shot shit.
yeah.
We're coming off our Suicide Squad episode.
Shout out Will.
I
That's-
mean, I think, yeah, if you're gonna go after her with missiles from the get, then yeah, she's smoked then and there. You don't even need to go into all the other shit like
Like
those goes and
that's just insurance, you know. At that point, she'll probably be a limp body, already dead, and I'm just insurance, bro. That's a dub. Let's go 3-6.
Yeah, I'll give you the double on that because I do like your chances with the exoskeleton. But
Yeah.
yo, so now, bonus question: you kill Carly, Flag Smashers are disassembled, and disassembled.
You're right.
Okay, and then So what do you do after that? Do you assume command? Like where do you fall on the spectrum of are the Flag Smashers good or bad? Like do you become their new leader? Like is this like a power thing or do you just fuck them all up now?
That ambition to take over First of all, if I do take over, I'm changing the name. That's the first thing I'm doing. Flag Smashers is whack. Like anything but like Smash. I don't know. That's just me.
Hulk smash.
That's the first thing I'm doing. I don't know. I don't really have any ambition to take over the world or kill innocent people. That's not me. But
you're just looking forward to the next week fight.
Yeah, bro. I'm just looking forward to saving humanity. You know, as a good.
Yeah, but the Flag Smashers. That's kind of what they're trying to do. That could be your vehicle to do that.
I get there.
Or do you not care about the displaced peoples?
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find another solution. That's what I'm gonna do. There's always another solution.
It's that simple.
Why did they think of that?
Why? Just think of something else.
Yeah.
Who has an idea?
Yeah, we're gonna brainstorm.
Okay. So Nick, do you give Norm the dub here?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's go.
Okay. Gav?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to him.
All right, fine. Norm is.
Norm does that bring him? Does that bring him to 3 and 4?
3 and
5,
4, because we skipped one. This is
Okay.
episode 8. So 3 and
Okay.
4, yeah.
Nice, Norm. One more year. Yo, John Walker next week. Start prepping that. Make a compelling case. You could.
It's either John Walker or Dr. Doom.
I think Bell's gonna use your fucking skull as a bowl for his candy. Like you're done.
Yeah.
Damn.
John Walker's a lot meaner than
Been
Carly
watching
is.
too much Punisher. That was graphic.
Yeah.
Give the watchers a view of the Super Podcast koozie.
Oh yeah. Officially merchandised Super Podcast koozie.
Look at that. It's a beaut.
Yeah, me too.
Tagline on the back. Nick, you'll be receiving yours in I don't know, whenever the USPS gets to you.
It's okay, Nick. I didn't get mine yet, and I'm kind of like.
Still didn't get the hat either.
Still didn't get the hat.
Bo's financing it. Well, they got here sooner than I expected. Like the estimated delivery date was the 14th through the 16th, and it came Saturday.
Okay, you should have said they came later than expected, which is why everyone hasn't gotten them yet.
Well, it came Saturday, and I still work the job. I can't just and the post office closes at 5, so
They
You
close-
do
they
other
do
stuff.
close.
Drinking and watching the Phillies doesn't count as a job, Gavin.
what was that then?
Drinking and watching the Phillies doesn't count as a job.
When you're a Philly sports fan, it does.
Lost 3 in a row to the mess.
Did they lose tonight? What's going on
Yeah.
there?
Got blown out. Harper went 0 for 4 with 3 Ks.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
killing me this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right,
Okay,
boys.
well, yeah, Nick, how did you enjoy your first Super Podcast experience?
I had a great time. Thank you for having me. I want to come back for the Black Panther episode to do Killmonger justice that you guys won't do. But other than that, love to be back on. Like, subscribe, follow.
Thanks for doing that for us. Yeah, Nick, you're a great guest. We're gonna have you back on soon.
I curtsy, but I'm sitting down.
Yeah,
Nick was honestly
Thanks.
Nick's honestly better at this than we are, which is
he's also wearing a kilt, so
Just a little
thank
concerned.
God.
Drop your Instagram, your new book coming out, anything like that.
My Venmo is at Nick-Devura. Please send me drinking money. Thank you.
There you go, guys.
It's not much. He's lightweight.
That's fair.
Baby.
All right, Nick, thanks for joining us. To our listeners, thank you for joining us as well. This concludes another episode of the Super Podcast. Please like, follow, subscribe, do whatever you can to help us grow. And, take care, guys.
Yeah.
And remember, behind every great Super Podcast, a great Super fan.
We're working on it.
I'm blushing.
Look. Thanos, we know is inevitable, but we are the Super Podcast.
Fortune favors the bold.
I kind of like that one.
All right,
Okay.
stop the recording.
Comment down below which one you like the most.
Listening to us is inevitable.
Oh my god.
Yeah, to all 20 people that we forced to.